It's now time for the Mike Wagne Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagne Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagneShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagne Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagne Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagne Show, get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagne Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagne Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, Deezer, Stitcher, and more. Take the Mike Wagne Show with you on any mobile device and subscribe to the Mike Wagne Show on the YouTube channel. You can also listen to the Mike Wagne Show on your smartphone, Android, iPhone, or Alexa. Just say, Alexa, play the Mike Wagne Show, and she'd be glad to do it for you. We're here with a wonderful lady author, Karen Bauer from Frankfort, Ohio. She's got a book out called Loving My Addict, A Mother's Journal, and describes about the history of her son's drug abuse and beginning of an addict, and also just chronicling to what the struggles they face and what they go through, and the journey to being clean and sober. And she's also been around giving talks and giving everybody inspiration. And the book is available right now at Amazon.com. And before we get into all that, live, ladies and gentlemen, from beautiful Frankfort, Ohio, where the sun is shining. And we also got, I guess we got some pets about to be in the background. They're probably reading the book right now. So live, and ladies and gentlemen, the very talented Karen Bauer. Karen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Mike. It's a pleasure to be here. And it's almost evening here. It's about 5 o'clock. So.
Well, that's a good thing, too, because I always say good morning. No, it's good afternoon. Good afternoon. No, it's good evening. So right. Just like the Truman Show, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And, thanks for joining. That's how we say it, too. So, all right. So you're the author of Loving My Addict, A Mother's Journal. And basically it's about history of your son's drug abuse, beginning of an addict, and also the story about an intimate journal inspired by experiences, trying to do everything save her son Ben from addiction, later discovering her son Gabriel also using as well too, and just going through trials and tribulations, being clean and sober, and also you're also planning to visit schools and churches and go on tour to talk about a very inspirational book. And before we get into all that, tell us exactly how you got started with writing the book.
Well, over the years, I've done a lot of travel, and when I would be out and about, I would jot things down, things come into my mind, and I really didn't know what I was going to do with all of it, but I was compiling a lot of information. And then in 2016, I was actually having a conversation with God, and I had told God that if he could help me to get Benjamin on the right path, that I would spend the rest of my days doing his work, and I would, go out and be as kind as I can and do positive things and just the small gestures that some people just don't think to offer to other people. And in my mind, I was, really thinking, Karen, just really devote your time to doing this. And, a lot of my prayers have been answered. Some of them have not, but I have been keeping up my end of the bargain. And so as I started doing this whole positive vibes thing, I started wondering to myself, how can I incorporate this into my story where I'm using my struggle to actually help others? And so that's when I started compiling the book and putting things down on paper in a more formal way. And so the first book has turned out very nicely. And that being said, it really is an introduction to what's to come. So there'll be more to come.
And any plans for a second book? And if so, when's that going to come out?
Actually, the second book is already in the works. I had gone a little further with this book than what has actually been published. I had gotten to a point where I thought the end of the first book would be when Benjamin got out of prison the first time. And things didn't go as planned. He had been clean and then wasn't. And so things started to escalate and go bad. And so this book was modified, and this book actually ends January of 2015. So yes, there will be a second book, Mike. But with that being said, from January 15th or January 2015 to present day is not really one book. So I think that probably 2 more books is really what I'm looking at.
It sounds like you're doing a trilogy of this whole thing. And what was the one moment that influenced you, that got you starting writing this journal? What was the one precise moment?
You know, there were a lot of moments, but I will say that when my oldest son overdosed the very first time, and I wasn't aware of it until 2 weeks later when I got a call from the hospital, that's when I knew that I had to tell a story, and I had to try my best to let people see and learn from what I've done wrong, a lot of it right. You know, it just really depends on opinion. But I wanted to help others to not have the struggle, or maybe ease their pain if they're going through this struggle.
Mm-hmm. So, and how do you think the addiction first got started?
Well, with both of my sons, it's different. With Benjamin, I think that it was, it started, you know, like all kids do. They're having a party, everybody's trying different things, whatever. And I think always maybe searching for the better high. I'm not real sure, you know, what triggered it to escalate as long as it did, as long as it has. And then with Benjamin, or with Gabriel, I feel like he was around addiction for so long. And in my mind, Mike, I thought, I really never considered that I had a concern with Gabe. And that's just stupidity on my part. You know, he was the one who stayed and helped me with Ben, and really was subjected every single day, pretty much throughout the day. And so when I learned of Gabe's addiction, you know, I really take the blame for that, because I allowed him to stay, and I allowed him to be subjected. And I was so focused on Benjamin and saving Benjamin that I didn't realize that I needed to save Gabe too.
It sounds like, you know, dealing with 2 sons and drug addiction is a very tough thing. And of course, you also advised people, got advice and everything. And how many, you know, counselors or counseling programs have you went through before you finally decided to go ahead and write the book and explain the process and getting them just about clean and sober?
I haven't gone through any programs, but I've spoken with a lot of different people who have told me the way they handle situations, or maybe the way they talk to someone when they come in. Maybe it's somebody at a group home, or I mean, I know a lot of people in a lot of different areas just from helping so many addicts. So I've learned a lot just from being around it a lot. And most of my resources, my own experience.
Mm-hmm. And do you think it could have been peer pressure as well, too?
Always. I always think that's a factor.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you know, addiction's a tough, trying to break and everything else. And we'll get to some of the parts and some of the steps to break the addiction and talk about an organization you've been in. You listen to The Mike Wagne Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagne Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagne Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. Check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/Mike Wagne Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, Deezer, Stitcher, and more. Take the Mike Wagne Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagne Show on the YouTube channel. Also listen to the Mike Wagne Show on your iPhone, smartphone, Android, and Alexa. Just have Alexa play the Mike Wagne Show. We're here with author Karen Bauer from Frankfort, Ohio, called Loving My Addict, A Mother's Journal, now out on Amazon right now as well, too. Of course, being a mother of 4 and a grandmother of 3, and soon to be 4 in 2020. Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. We're really excited about the new baby.
Yes, it is. And of course, you also advocate, not your typical shame on you and everything else as a stereotype, for dealing with drug addiction and, just confronting the sons and everything. You use positivity, inspiration, laughter, and kindness. And maybe you can just explain the steps about that one, too. A very unique approach.
The positive vibe started in 2017. And I think it was the end of February where I threw it out there on Facebook and said, look, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what it's all about. And it's really hard to explain your thoughts to other people until they actually watch the process and see how it's going to transpire. And so that's really what happened. And I could tell about 4.5, 5 months into it that people were really digging it. Like people want to read something that makes them feel good, or they want to, get that little bit of comedy in the day. And there are so many people out there that, Mike, don't have anyone to talk to. So I get a lot of these messages, people telling me, I go for weeks at a time, or I live alone, or, and I wait for your posts. And so I had to really kind of play with it for a while to figure out, like, how often do I want to post? What kind of post do I want to have out there? And so I've changed it up a little bit over the 3 years that I've been doing it. But my main focus from the beginning was that I wanted people, if it makes you feel good, share it. I don't care if you like it. I don't care if you love it. I don't really care if you hate it. But if it makes you feel good, or it changes or alters your day in some way, in a positive way, share it. It takes 1 second to hit that share button. And so I really push that a lot. And I have the most loyal friends and family on my Facebook page, and they do, and they share. And so they pass that on to their timeline. And I guess my thought process behind that is that, even if you only have 100 friends, or let's just say, you have 15, whatever you have, there might be only one person that needed to see that. But when you throw it onto another timeline, you're giving it so much more visibility. And, so I just feel like, I owe a lot to the people who do all that for me, because I cannot do that on my own. So
that's amazing too. And what's the Facebook page that you're on?
It's just Karen Bauer.
Karen Bauer, okay.
Yeah, you can just search my name, and you'll see a couple of other ones that, like, there's one, Karen Bauer Positive Vibes, and I don't do much on those pages because Facebook wants me to, like, pay them to do stuff, and I just not going to. So
I know Facebook all too well, believe me. And there's like, yeah, thank you, and you're like, like that.
Right.
How you mean.
I just don't have the money to pay you to make people happy. I'm going to do this on my own. So it's just my page, and I don't have a ton of friends, but I have loyal friends, and so they've helped me grow this page. And there's a segment in the book that is about the positive vibes. And my whole thought on that was that when I read a really good book, Mike, like, I'm getting to the end and I'm like 5-7 pages from the end, and I know the book is about to be finished, and I don't want it to, because I'm loving it, And so I really thought about that a lot, and I thought, what can I do to tell the story and then extend a little bit more to my reader? Mm-hmm. And so right after the manuscript, there's a segment, and it's the family segment, and it's called The Glue That Holds Us All Together. And then there's a segment after that is the positive vibe segment, and it gives you a real nice insight. You can tell, like, how it has grown over the years. And so in there are a lot of the posts that I just pulled out that I thought were great posts. And then there are also a lot of messages and comments from the people who are interacting with me and creating these positive vibes. So I love that, the way the book is compiled, it does leave you at the end where you feel like you got a little bit more than just the read.
That is amazing too. And of course, once again, the book by Karen Bauer, Loving My Act, A Mother's Journal, published on Amazon as well too. You can go to Amazon.com. And where else do you also sell your book as well too, besides Amazon?
Barnes and Noble, and that's also barnesandnoble.com. It's not in stores yet, but hopefully will be soon. And also my publishing company, which is Power Knowledge Books. And there are several links on my page, but you can go to Power Knowledge, you can find that online as well. So those three places right now, and a couple of small bookstores here and there, but yeah.
That was amazing, too. And, of course, getting back to your Facebook page, you have a lot of followers, friends, and everything else on Facebook. You can only have up to 5,000 friends. I wish there was more. And what other social media do you use, like, say, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, or, LinkedIn? What are some other social media sites you use to get your message out?
Twitter and also Instagram. And, for the longest time, I didn't use those two sites. And since the book has come out, I've started to use them. And I didn't realize, but on Instagram, I don't think I had ever done anything on Instagram. And I had like 1,600 followers. I was like, oh, well, I got a jump start. I have a jump start and I haven't even been doing anything. So thanks to those people who were sitting around waiting. But yeah, so those three social media sites are the ones that I utilize.
Mm-hmm. And where can they access you on Twitter and Instagram?
On Twitter, it's at Loving My Addict, and also on Instagram, it's Positive Vibes Karen Bauer.
That is amazing, too. And you also belong to an organization called Shatterproof, which you'll be happy to talk about. And tell us all about Shatterproof.
Shatterproof is shatterproof.org, and I partnered with Shatterproof because for all of the years, we've been dealing with addiction for well over a decade. And so, 10 years ago, there weren't resources and there was really nobody to talk to when you had questions that you couldn't find answers to when you were trying to figure out a rehab or all of these things. And so when I knew that I wanted to partner with an organization, all I was finding was state-based. There was one in Kentucky and there was one in West Virginia. They were everywhere, but there was nothing that I could find that was nationwide. And then I don't know how I came across Shatterproof, and I started reading the CEO's story, and wonderful story, and what they're doing. They're out there making headway in all these different states. And so really what they do, to just give you an example, let's say you're a parent and you found a rehab and you don't have the financial means to put your child or your loved one into a rehab. And so what they do is they help you with those resources and help you to get your child or your loved one where they need to be. So pretty amazing what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. And it's amazing, too. And also talk about something special you just received. We'll talk about that. You listen to The Mike Wagne Show at themikewagnershow.com. Powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagne Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagne Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. Check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagne Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more. Take the Mike Wagne Show with you on any mobile device and subscribe to the Mike Wagne Show on the YouTube channel. We're here with author Karen Bauer, Loving My Addict, a mother's journal from Frankfort, Ohio. And great to have her guest on the Mike Wagne Show. You can find her books on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. And before we, just to get to a few more things, especially about a little bit about the book and everything else, we just got word that you just got a letter from the president as well, too. And, you shared it with me. It's just phenomenal and a lot of great vibes, as you say, about the book, Loving My Addict. And maybe you can just tell us about the letter you got. Maybe you can just go ahead and read the letter for us. I love to hear you read.
Yeah, I would love to read the letter for you. I'll tell you, I wrote the president a letter and I sent him a copy of my book. And I follow everything that he's doing, and I was watching him address a city, and he was talking about ending the AIDS epidemic. And it just really hit me, Mike. I thought, man, I never really thought I'd hear a president or anyone else saying that we were going to be able to have a hold on that. And so it got me thinking, wouldn't it be nice in 10, 15 years if I could hear a president say we have a hold on the opioid epidemic? And so that got me thinking. And so I sat down and I started scribbling, and I wrote him a letter. And I really and I sent him a book, and I really didn't expect to ever know if it was it in his hands or, any of those things. And then this past week, I wrote him that letter. I sent it out on the 7th. I wrote it on the 7th. I sent it out on that day. And he received it. It was received at the White House on the 19th. And then on the 26th, this letter was composed. And this is what it says. Dear Miss Bauer, thank you for taking the time to write and for sharing the book you wrote about your son's battle with addiction. I am terribly sorry to hear of the hardship your family has endured, but I admire your determination. To remain a positive source of hope in your children's lives. The strength and compassion you have exhibited are truly inspiring. Opioid abuse is a national health emergency. Too many of our fellow Americans have been lost due to the scourge of drug abuse. It is plaguing families and communities across our nation, robbing so many of their potential. My administration is fighting this crisis on all fronts, and examples like yours motivate me to keep up the fight. I send my best wishes to you, Ben, and the rest of your family. May God bless you all. Sincerely, Donald Trump.
That is amazing too. Wow. And of course,
Yeah.
we love to see it put up on Facebook as well too. And that's definitely not fake news right there, as you would say. I mean, that's just fantastic. And have you heard the latest on the opioid crisis and what's been the latest you've heard?
I hear a lot of different things. I do like that the First Lady is out there on all fronts, and she's addressing, small communities, large communities. She's going to colleges, schools, wherever she can go. And that just shows me that, there is hope that people are out. There have been many things that have been started and implemented, but I don't think a lot of those things we are privy to because they've not made such an impact at this point, but I do believe they will. I think Shatterproof is a great example. Some of the things, if you go on there and you read about the things that they're doing and these laws that they're getting passed, and I really keep up on that because I've partnered with them, and I love that, they're really making themselves be known and helping so many people that nobody else has the ability to do that. So, So yeah, a lot of things happening, just patience, I guess.
It is amazing. Do you think you'll get some federal funding from this book or support as well too, since you got a letter from President Trump?
Hey, you never know. I mean, the sky's the limit. I'm not really looking for anything from anyone. What my main goal would be is to get in there and talk to every 3rd, 4th, and 5th grader and make sure that they don't ever travel this path.
That is fantastic too. And any plans for an upcoming tour or where you're gonna be visiting in 2020 talking about your book?
I'm going to be everywhere. I filled out a questionnaire the other day. Who is your audience? Talking about the book, who is your audience? And I thought about that for a minute because the first thing that came to my mind, Mike, was everybody is my audience. And so that's how I feel about a tour. I feel like I'm going to go where people want me to go. And so I've been invited several places, and I'm scheduling things already for, February, March, April, and getting things started. So, I really would love to utilize my time where I can manage it to be in as many places as possible. And that's really the goal.
That is fantastic too. And also, at the time we're speaking as well too, what's the latest on Ben and Gabriel?
Benjamin is presently incarcerated. He is doing okay. I always like to think, he's in a safe place, where he's at right now. There are still drugs and access to, everything that could possibly deter him, but he's doing well right now, and he's got big plans, and he talks about, when I get out, I'm going to do this and that. I will tell you this, Mike, that about a week ago, he received a book. They allowed me to send him a book, and he read the book twice. He told me he read it the day he got it, and then he read it again early the next morning. And people were watching him read this book, and other inmates. And so they said to him, can we sign that book out? Well, you're not really supposed to do that, contraband and so forth. So anyway, so it is now where he can sign the book out. And I think he said the last count was over 70 people had read the book. And
Wow.
he said, Mom, I have inmates come, men coming to me, 45 years old, 50 years old, and they're telling me this happened with me and my mom, or I left my kids and didn't see them for so many years, or this is how I live for a while. So he's having all these conversations, Mike. And not only is it good for him to have the conversations for these people to be able to have an outlet, but it's good for Ben because it's therapeutic for him. And it's allowing him to see other people's experience as well as his own. And then, kind of use that as a guide to how to talk to people and what to do. But, I think at first it was making him a little nervous. Ben is very outspoken and everybody loves him. And, but I think that at first he was just like, oh, it was overwhelming. And so he said, I don't want it to leave my block. I don't want to get in trouble. I said, Ben, I'll send you more books. If that's, and he said, no, there's a sense of urgency here. I want to keep it the way it is. So he's doing big things with the books inside there, which really makes me happy and proud of him that he's doing that. And then we have Gabriel, my youngest son, who today is 610 days in recovery.
Wow.
So
Congrats.
Shout out to Gabe. He works hard every day. And I talk to a lot of recovering addicts and they tell me, and Gabe has told me this too, but I hear it from people who have been in recovery for 10 years, 3 years, 5, whatever. And they'll tell me every day I wake up, Karen, I have to fight with myself. It's a struggle. So the relapse is no joke. And, so people who say, oh, my gosh, I don't know how it happened. He was clean for 5 years and then he overdosed, or, you hear these stories all the time and it happens so often. And so I think that if people really, can get a handle on the fact that their recovery is so important as well. It's not like, oh, boom, you're magically clean and then everything is perfect. It's not the way it works. It's a lifetime thing. And so that once an addict, you're going to always be an addict. And a lot of people might not believe that, but it is the truth. And so, so Gabe is doing big things. He just had a baby. She's 10 months old, Adeline Kay. And
congratulations.
he tells me that she is his saving grace. She's the blessing that keeps him motivated and moving forward every day. So the boys are doing well.
And when's Ben's scheduled to be released?
It looks like May of 21.
May of 21. Great. Keep us up to date. We'd love to have back on and talk about your second book. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
My influence to others, or what has influenced?
Correct. Yeah, like writing or, whatever. So.
Yeah, I think the words, like I use the words to express myself. And so I'm a big fan of like write it down, talk about it, that type of thing. I think that's why I'm a first time author and I didn't hesitate, I just jumped right in and I thought, if I can make this be perceived by the reader the way that we have lived it, then it's really going to do something. And so we'll see what happens.
That's amazing too. And speaking of authors, who are your favorite authors growing up?
Oh, I'm a big fan of Nancy Drew, the old Nancy Drew books. I had the whole collection, and so that was a big thing for me. I love James Patterson. I'm a mystery kind of girl, and nowadays it's through the whole addiction days, I haven't had a lot of time to read. I love to read, but I'm finding now that the kids are grown and going and doing their thing that I'm able to pick up a lot more material. So, but really, a good story of any kind, I love it. So
that is fantastic. Looking forward to your book as well too. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Never give up hope. Never give up. There's always hope. And if you can't find someone, throw it out there on social media. People will contact you. People will come and people will help you to move to the next level.
That is fantastic. Once again, author Karen Bauer of Loving My Addict, The Mother's Journal from Frankfort, Ohio. Available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. Love to have you back on again soon in 2020. Keep us up to date. And once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? Where can they purchase your book?
They can purchase my book on BarnesandNoble.com. They can purchase my book on Amazon.com and Power Knowledge Books also. Those three places you can purchase my book, and I will be out and about, and hopefully a lot of churches and schools, and people will be able to grab a book when I'm out there doing that. So that'll give them another resource.
That's fantastic. Karen, just wants to say a big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic, very inspirational. Looking forward to having you on soon, and do us a favor, keep us up to date. Love to have back on 2020.
Perfect. Sounds great. Thanks for having me, Mike.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagne Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagne Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagneshow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagneshow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagne Show.